Coming soon on video cassette.
In a world where women rule and society is peaceful, one man disrupts their feminist utopia by instituting a malevolent patriarchy. Warner Brothers Films presents Barbie. Be inspired by the timeless message that men are retarded and women are awesome.
Propaganda. Communication that is primarily used to influence or persuade an audience to further an agenda. Yep, that's this movie. And I'm not being facetious. This movie doesn't even try to hide it. It wants to be seen that way. But is it actually feminist woke propaganda or something else? Of course, from just watching the movie and not thinking about it too much, it just seems like 2 hours of the writer-director Greta Gerwig talking at you while you stay strapped down, unable to move as you lay transfixed upon the beautiful candy-coated images on screen.
You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point that out, you're accused of complaining.
And you either agree with and praise the on-the-nose left-wing messaging, like every single critic, disagree and boycott it, like every single Republican, or just call it a not that great movie with no story, like a level-headed person.
All that said, how was the movie? I was meh about it.
Basically, the script here, it's not going to be changing anybody's minds. Insert culture war talking points here. But I know, I'm not the target audience. I shouldn't be talking about Barbie. This movie is for little girls. And I'm clearly not that. How dare you assume? But you would actually be wrong. Not on my gender identity. I am a 75-year-old Asian woman, according to me, but this film is rated PG-13, so little girls are not the target demo here. And yes, of course, parents will take kids to see this who are younger than 13, but make no mistake that the filmmakers knew that this rating might cut off a sizable portion of little girls, i.e. the ones who actually play with the dolls, from watching it. And they could have easily made it PG by just cutting a vagina joke and their one F-word moment, but they didn't. So who is the target audience? Who is this movie for? The adult women that already agree with the message? The adult women who don't agree and perhaps need to be persuaded into realizing that every single aspect of their lives is controlled and dominated by men? Or teenage girls who are still figuring out the world, like our anti-capitalist, anti-consumerist, Antifa semi-protagonist here?
Fascist?
I would argue none of them. This movie is for the men, baby. Adult men, feminist simps, and Bud Light boycotting bros alike. All the signs are there. Ken is the protagonist here. He's the only one with a character arc. He goes from being a useless clown, disrespected by all the women in his life, to ruling over those women with an iron fist. And after he is defeated by those women manipulating his feelings, he is given a valuable lesson that he should not define himself as a counterpart to Barbie, but as his own person. He says he can't see a world without her in his life, and she basically tells him to stop simping and go get his own life. It's very MGTOW, actually. It's the exact advice you hear in the online manosphere. So, bravo, Barbie, subverting our expectations, and the critics didn't even notice. Wow. But there's more. This movie makes a massive case against the thing it appears to be promoting. The Barbie women make it known that they built everything in Barbie Land. They literally say, "We built everything." And they run everything in Barbie Land, literally saying, "Everything men do in your world, women do in ours," referring to the real world. And indeed, you see Barbies doing every single job: doctors, politicians, pilots, delivery drivers, DJs, everything. They have a president, a Supreme Court, all of that. And men are completely shut out from every facet of professional life. The Kens do nothing but exist to give attention to the women and provide amusement. The women barely even care about that. They mostly seem annoyed by their presence and seem to wish that they weren't around at all. So the Kens realize this inequality under Barbie rule after Gosling Ken enlightens them to their oppression. And they launch a non-violent offensive to take over Barbie Land, finally swinging things in their favor for the first time ever. And for a time, It is good. Everybody seems happy now. The Barbies are happy to have the male attention still, and the Kens are finally getting positive attention from Barbies.
Where are my hungry boys? Who wants snacks?
It couldn't be better. And the men decide they are finally going to change the Barbie Constitution, likely to amend it to offer equal rights to Kens finally. But a few Barbies and real-world women, aka the supposed protagonists of the movie, don't like this and decide to launch a guerrilla campaign against the new fledgling government to take down the Kens. How do they do this? They make the Kens jealous of each other by flirting with their friends right in front of them, manipulating their emotions, and destroying their brotherly bonds. And it works. The men fight a war as the women take back the seat of power, ensuring that in Barbie Land, equality will not stand. The defeated men try to ask for concessions, even one Supreme Court seat, please, but it is not granted. The men are put right back into the servant class, once again being flung to the bottom of society by their pink-clad overlords. But there's an important message here. One, I think a lot of people missed. Barbies are not going to just give their power up to the Kens simply for the sake of equality and justice. No! They worked too hard to build this society, just to hand it over to the Kens who could ruin everything they created, who didn't even build this society into what it is. They just came in at the last moment and demanded power in the civilization that the Barbies created. Because remember, in Barbie Land, women built everything, they run everything, and they maintain everything. And yet the filmmaker decides that because of that, that means that the Kens shouldn't have any power. Therefore, the only explanation I can gather from this resolution, the meaning of the movie, what the writer-director Greta Gerwig is subliminally saying to us all, is that in the real world, women shouldn't have any power, since men built, run, and maintain things, right? I'm not saying that, but talk to the writer. This is her analogy. How could I take it any other way? If she meant to say that society should be equal for men and women, the Barbies would have offered that equality to Kens. But they don't give them any equality. Greta Gerwig thinks that the people who built society should rule over it. And that's what I took away from this movie. Not the blatant contempt for men, not the communist revolutionary ideas,
Sexualized capitalism?
not the fact that Barbie is called a white savior,
Yes, white savior Barbie!
not the Chevrolet product placement, not the struggles of being a woman in modern Los Angeles, not the tired 2001 Space Odyssey parody where little girls smash icons of babies, not Ryan Gosling's awesome rendition of Push by Matchbox 20, it's quite good.
Something's got to give.
Not that Mattel is shamed for only having a few women CEOs for a doll company, even though they also make Hot Wheels. Not that they call Ruth Handel the inventor of Barbie, even though she stole the design from some Germans. Not Kate McKinnon, actually being funny in this one.
I'm Weird Barbie, I am in the splits, I have a funky haircut, and I smell like basement.
Not the weird, inconsistent internal logic. Not that it was nice to see an audience dressed up for a premiere, it was. Not that the trailers did a great job of hiding the political messaging. But that the movie's events appear to support actual patriarchy, while the script pretends to be the most feminist movie ever made. So, here's to propaganda. And to show that sometimes when you take an extreme idea too far, you might just reinforce the opposite of what you intended. Till next time, I'll be here, somewhere. See ya.
In a world turned upside down, where women hold the power and men are bound by servitude, one man with a vision for a better world discovers his power and leads.
I'll see you on the Malibu Beach!
The revolution. They are one. They are many. They are Ken.